Hi there, Hillary here for Waterlogged, and in today's video we are in Port Townsend, Washington for the 46th annual Wooden Boat Festival. Let's go walk around and check things out. One thing you notice right off is how big of a space this festival takes place in. One of the areas that you first come to is this area right next to the water with all of these boats that have been handmade. Now, Doris, which is the boat we're looking at right now, I believe they said it took 12 years. And it might seem like a long time, but if you consider that all of these different pieces were put together, were planed, sanded down, and fit by hand, it really is quite impressive to think about. Now, boats weren't the only things at the show. Obviously, there's a bunch of wooden kayaks because it is a wooden boat festival after all. Now, again, you're thinking about craftsmanship that goes into these pieces, the detail on some of these birds and the rams. It's really quite incredible. Each of the different types of wood that's used has different properties and will result in different things. I spotted these humpback kayak paddles that I thought were really cool. Now, in this area, when you first get into the festival, there is a big working space that you can check out and see people working on display, and one of them was this really interesting way to plane. The goal with it is to pull the planer across a piece of wood and get one thin, solid strip. Something else that was in this building that was really interesting were all of these little boats in a bottle. It's amazing the small details that goes into making these, and it was cool to see some of them in various stages. Now, of course, we have to stop at Sea Grant because they are talking about ways to keep our waterway clean and how important it is to pump out and don't dump. I picked up one of these little orca finders. It's a good thing to keep with you if you're going out. What you do is hold it at arm's length, and you want to keep that distance between you and the orcas. These little duck kits were pretty cool. It comes in a box and you can build it all yourself. Take a look at all of these beautiful, beautiful boats. I have been fascinated for quite some time by wooden boats, sailboats especially. I just think they're absolutely beautiful. Something about them is just classic and kind of romantic, if you will. And a lot of these boats, you are able to walk around, and if you ask permission, a lot of the owners were kind enough to let you get aboard and look around. Now, some of these were just casual sailboats that people had, but some of them were actually liveaboards. And if you think about living on a boat 24/7, especially one of the families that we met, them and their 2 kids lived on board. It was pretty cool to see. Now, this boat in particular, of all of the ones that I saw this weekend, was my absolute favorite. They said the guy there actually built it himself, and every time I looked at it, I found new little details in the woodworking, like these cute little dolphins. And again, he did it all by hand and made it himself. I don't know what it is about them, but these boats that have the teal or the light blue colors on them are just beautiful. Now, at the boat festival, this is another area that you could walk around. There was a lot of vendors selling purses like these that were made out of sails from the sailboat. I may have gotten one. They're quite fun, and knowing that you are able to reuse something that might have gotten thrown away is pretty cool. These bags are actually very durable and really chic, so if you're interested in getting one, that's where you can go. Now, one part about this festival was bringing new young blood into the field. So becoming a shipwright or going into maritime arts is one thing that they need more people. And they had a lot of different booths that were there to encourage people to sign up and get involved, maybe consider a new career path. I actually talked to one of the exhibitors that was here, and they were encouraging maybe if I wanted to sign up for some work at sea, which is pretty cool to think. I've gone through my career, but maybe if I wanted to re-up my career path, there's always options out there no matter where you're at in the walk of life. So if you're not sure if this is something that you'd like to do, there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that give you a close, in-depth look at what it's like. All right, so the other day on my live stream, I mentioned some fellow YouTubers that are here, and this is Peter Knowles, Travels with Jordy is your channel. Tell us a little bit about your channel and how you enjoy the festival.
It's basically, as I tell most people, it's about sanding. So I look after 3 old wooden monk cruisers. This one is the oldest of the 3 at 1938. And I guess it's just the story of looking after them. I live aboard the biggest of them at 40 feet in downtown Victoria. And just the trials and tribulations of looking after old boats on a rather tight budget. But it's been a lot of fun, and we get to cruise every summer, and of course from Victoria north is some of the best cruising on the planet, so up to Desolation Sound and beyond. So it's just a super life, and people seem to enjoy it for some reason.
Boy, I enjoy watching your channel. I've got a bunch of places I want to travel.
Okay, excellent,
the detail
super.
that you put into the woodworking is incredible.
It's been a lot of fun, and having the time to do it, and the fact that these are handmade boats, so they can always be fixed and repaired by hand, and I just love that about them. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, check out the video description for the details if you want to follow along with his channel as well. I highly encourage it.
Thanks so much. Cheers. Pleased to meet you.
Now, I showed you a few of the vendors already, but one of them that I hadn't shown you yet is the foundry. So if you think about all of the metal pieces that are on boats, they have to withstand a lot of elements. And so this is where the foundry comes into play. All of these pieces were made by hand and stuff you would see on boats. Now, I found something that was really interesting. So this glass piece right here, it kind of looks like a lemon juicer, but you will actually see them. The bottom flat part is on the top of the boat, and when light hits it, it refracts through the bottom, lighting up your cabin space. Pretty cool, huh? Of course, you know I'm a fan for a pun. We found another Sea Grant booth. It's always fun to check out the resources that the local Sea Grants have, because each of them are a little bit different depending on where they're based out of. Now, at any festival, as you might expect, they had an area for music and a place to sit down and enjoy the food that you might get. But one of the cool things that I got to do during the festival was take a ride aboard the Adventurous. Now, I want to show you another area with some boats that are slightly smaller than Adventurous. This is Racer Alley, and all of these boats look small. It's because they are. They're small because they're built for speed to travel and cover a large distance in a very short period of time. There's a race called the R2AK, which goes from Port Townsend all the way to Alaska. If you want to look about a video on it, check it out right here. This is a little bit about the race. So again, you start in Port Townsend, you're gonna make your way to British Columbia, and then from there, you're gonna go the 710 miles to Ketchikan, Alaska. Here's a map of it if you are interested, and if this sounds like something that you might wanna do, you can sign up for the race through their website, and definitely let me know if this is something that you're gonna do, because I would love to be able to cheer you on. And there's a $10,000 prize for the winner, so maybe it's something you should check out. Now, walking around the far end of this festival, you see a lot of other boats that are for sale. Haha, yes, they do sail. You can sail them, but they also are available for purchase. Now, some like this paddle boat are a little bit different in their design, but definitely unique and something I might like to try out someday. Now, while there were a bunch of boats to check out here at the docks, this wasn't the only place where there were impressive boats. There's another YouTube channel that I want to go show you the boat from. Now, if you have ever heard of Tally-Ho, you probably might be familiar with this boat. They had a open house for Patreons, and we got to go up and walk on Tally-Ho, the boat. He bought it for $1 and has been slowly rebuilding it from the ground up. It's pretty cool because this is a YouTube channel that I watch fairly regularly, and to see all of this work in person is just absolutely incredible. When you look, you see the craftsmanship and the detail that they've put into all of these different parts of this beautiful boat. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Watching their channel is something that I started doing during the pandemic, and so it's pretty cool to be able to see their workshop in person. One of the first things I fell in love with about the channel was Poncho here, and getting to say hello was pretty cool. Now you might be asking yourself, this is an ocean education channel. Why are you talking so much about boats? Well, if you think about it, sailors way back in the day were the first ones to really truly explore the world's oceans. And those sailors did so on wooden boats. So it makes sense to kind of include them in learning about the ocean. I hope you've enjoyed this festival as much as I have. If you're thinking about going in the future, make sure to make your reservations early because things do sell out rather quickly. This has been Hillary for Waterlogged. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.